They had a slogan, Earth's safest place to work. They put it in the press releases, the recruiting pages, the feel-good corporate video with the soft music, and then the data came in. Amazon's warehouse injury rate was 6.5 serious injuries for every 100 workers. The rate at other large warehouses was 3.8. So the company that promised to be the safest on the entire planet was hurting people at nearly double the rate of everyone else in the same business. That is not a stumble. That is the slogan and the reality standing next to each other, and one of them is lying. Let me give you the exact gap, because the exact number is the whole point. 6.5 injuries per 100 Amazon workers in 2023. 3.8 at large, non-Amazon warehouses. That is 71% higher, roughly double the industry, and these are not paper cuts. These are the injuries that count as serious. The backs, the shoulders, the bodies that do not bounce back, on the people who pack the box that shows up at your door tomorrow. The speed that makes the delivery fast is the same speed that wears the human out. You are not paying for convenience, somebody else is. And here is where the slogan really dies. Amazon pledged to cut its injury rate in half by 2025. In half. A bold, public, written promise. So how did they do? According to the Strategic Organizing Center, they cut it by less than 2%, not half, 2. They aimed for 50%, hit 2, and kept the slogan anyway. Imagine telling your boss you would double your output and delivering 2%. You would be gone by Friday. But when a trillion-dollar company misses by that much, it just quietly stops mentioning the goal and moves on. Now the second body in the room, the drivers. The person who hands you the package is usually not on Amazon's payroll at all. They work for a contractor, a delivery service partner, a DSP. That arrangement is not an accident. It is a wall. As long as the driver works for the DSP and not for Amazon, Amazon gets all of the labor and none of the responsibility. No obligation to bargain, no liability. The brown van, the app, the route, the quotas, all Amazon. The employer on paper, somebody else. The risk, as always, pushed downhill. And that wall is exactly what got tested. There was a DSP called Battle Tested Strategies, believed to be the only delivery contractor whose drivers actually voted to unionize with the Teamsters. They organized. They did the hard, scary thing. And in June 2023, Amazon terminated the contract. The drivers unionize, and the contract that employs them just happens to end. The case that followed asked one simple question. Is Amazon really the boss here? Because if it is, it has to come to the table. And Amazon was losing that question. So in May 2026, instead of getting a ruling, they got a settlement. A labor board judge forced through a deal that the Teamsters openly called corrupt. Here is what the deal did. Amazon pays some back pay, which sounds like accountability, and in exchange, it avoids ever being ruled the joint employer of those drivers. So they write a check, and the check buys them out of the one finding that would have actually changed anything. They did not win the argument. They paid to make the argument disappear before the verdict landed. This is the whole machine in one story. Hurt people at double the rate, miss your safety promise by a country mile, structure the job so the person you control is never legally your employee, and when a court gets close to saying otherwise, buy your way out before the gavel falls. None of that is a glitch. Every piece of it is engineered to do the same thing. Get the maximum labor out of a human being while owing that human being as little as the law can be made to allow. And the law, it turns out, can be made to allow a lot. So what is the lesson besides do not trust a slogan? The lesson is that when the people doing the work do not own any part of the thing will always treat them as a cost to be minimized. The body on the conveyor and the driver in the van are not partners in the company. They are inputs. And you do not negotiate with an input, you optimize it. The only way that ever changes is when work and ownership stop being two different teams, and the people generating the value finally hold a piece of it that no settlement can take away. Earth's safest place to work. Remember it next time a doorbell camera catches that tired driver beating a quota. Double the injuries. A safety promise missed by 98%. A settlement bought to dodge the truth. The machine eats bodies and pays a fine, and the fine is always smaller than the savings. Wake up is not the slogan. It is the moment you stop confusing fast shipping with a system working for anyone but its owners. If that made you angry, that is the right response. I put the alternative into practice with MXEL, where the people who do the work earn a real stake instead of being treated as a cost to be minimized. This is the ownership stuff in practice. MXEL at mxel.com. Stay loud.